Everyone loves their mice, and so do I. However, when it comes to opening apps and moving them around on your Windows desktop, it can all be done a lot quicker using the keyboard. If you want to learn how to do that, keep watching. Here is my desktop, and here is a typical keyboard. We will be using certain keys on it. The Windows key. This is a key that if pressed on its own will open the Windows menu, as if you had pressed this icon with your mouse cursor. We also have the Control and Shift keys. You may have used the Control key in the past for printing. In other words, you hit Control, then P to print a document. You will have used the Shift key to set characters to capitals. Note that most keyboards have them on both sides. There is also the Alt key, which under most normal circumstances you won't use. We will also, for some of the commands, be using the Enter key and the navigation keys, but you should hopefully know your way about them. Okay, with introductions over, let's get started. If you want a quick way to launch an app, use the Windows key for this. Press the Windows key and wait for the menu to pop up, as you see here. Type the first character of the app you are trying to open. In my case, I'm trying to open Word, so I type W, and you can see it here. If I just want to open it now, I just hit Enter, and I am in. However, let's get fancier than that. If you want Word to open with a document you had opened recently, then bring up the menu again, then hit W, and then, rather than hitting Enter, use the navigation buttons to go right, then down to the document you want, then hit Enter. If the app you're wanting is not the first app that is shown, for example, say I want WordPad, then use the navigation keys to move down to select that, then hit Enter. If you have added apps to your taskbar, keyboard shortcuts also make it easy to start those without using the mouse. If you put the most used ones next to the Windows Start button, you can start these by pressing Windows 1 through 9 for the first 9, then the 10th one is 0. In practice, I tend to use this a lot for the first 5 apps, because you are doing well if you can quickly count along your toolbar to 10. Note that this is definitely quicker than moving the mouse over to the taskbar, but the one downside it has is that you cannot open it with a recent file, as you could from the Windows taskbar as described earlier. I use it for apps like Outlook and Steam that you don't tend to use recent files with. If you have a number of apps open, then it can be difficult to change from one app to another when they are on top of one another. You end up minimizing the one at the front to get to the one you want behind it. This is where the keyboard shortcut route really comes into its own. In this example, we are going to use Alt-Tab. To show this in action, let's open a number of apps. Let's open File Explorer, then Chrome, then Word. You will notice on the taskbar that I have a 4th app open. This is a program called OBS and has been used to record the screen. Okay, so at the moment I have Word on top, but I want to select File Explorer. If I was using the mouse, I would minimize Word and hope that the next app underneath is File Explorer. But if it wasn't and it was Chrome, I would then need to minimize that as well, which is all getting very time consuming, and if I then want to go back to where I was, I need to bring all of these other apps back to the screen again. It's a nightmare. We can avoid all of this by using Alt-Tab. When I press Alt, then Tab, I get a row showing all of the open apps. If I press Tab again, it moves right to the next app, and if I were to keep pressing it again, it would keep cycling around all of the apps. When I get the app I want, in this case File Explorer, I just let both keys go and that app is brought to the front. Happy days. Windows 10 does give us another way to do the same thing, but it does involve using the mouse as well. If, rather than pressing Alt-Tab, we press Windows-Tab, all of the open tabs get reduced to a smaller size and we can select the app we want with the mouse, as can be seen here. This also brings up a timeline of files you have opened in the past, and that can be useful. The Alt-Tab approach is probably most useful when you have a small number of apps open, say up to 5. In the Windows tab, it's probably more useful when you have a large number of apps open, say up to 10 or 12. If you find yourself having to manage even more apps open than that, you'd be better using additional Windows desktops, and in a separate video I will be explaining how to use those. Check for that in the description below. Finally, let's have a quick look at how to move windows around using the keyboard. If I take an app that is not maximised, like this Word document, then press Windows up, it gets maximised. If I then press Windows down, it goes back to its original size. Pressing Windows down again minimises it, and pressing Windows up again now brings it back on the screen. Sweet. I can do similar things with the left and right keys. Pressing Windows left puts the app on the left of my screen but at full height. If I now press up or down, it puts it in the corner of the screen. By doing this with a number of apps, I can set them out as tiles on my screen to get the best use of whatever screen size I have available to me. Thanks for watching, and if you did find this video useful, please consider hitting the like button, and if you'd like to see more videos of this type in the future, please consider subscribing. See you soon.